Welcome into another edition of the Neishloss Podcast, presented by Neishloss Fleming and Integrity Marketing Group. I'm your host, as always, Mike Asti. And I want to remind you guys, of course, bottom of this video, click that subscribe button. It'll help us get all of our content throughout here at Neishloss Fleming, throughout our YouTube channel to you. It's free to do so, and also hit us up all through social media, now on Instagram at Neishloss_Fleming, and also on our website, nandfinc.com. And for this show, we're going to switch it up a little bit from what we've been doing with recent shows, and we're going to be talking about a carrier, a known carrier that's been around certainly and has a brand name that you're going to be familiar with, but a carrier that's really popping in their med sup game and even beyond that right now across the country. And to have that conversation, I am going to be joined by Kristi Meyers, who is the sales director with Mutual of Omaha for med sups and PDP and others. Kristi, first off, thanks for joining me. I like the paintings in the background. It looks like a nice home office space, so I appreciate the time. I know I'm sure we're all busy right now.
Yes, good morning, everybody, and thanks for having me on the show today.
Absolutely. Well, as I said, Kristi, Mutual of Omaha, we were receiving your emails. We just couldn't resist having you on the show and doing this podcast as I kept getting bombarded by those emails, because it was really, really intriguing what Mutual of Omaha is doing across the country. It seems like every other day you're letting us know about another state that's going to be taking on Mutual of Omaha and where you guys are in terms of rates, etc. So it seems really exciting. So we know Mutual of Omaha is really putting an emphasis on a heavy expansion across the country, especially with those med sup products. We've seen information, and we looked at those rates on Arizona, Michigan, North Carolina, South Carolina. There are others that I'm aware of as well. Which states could you mention outside of those? And then which states do you really feel are really competitive right now? Obviously, all of them are, but just are there some more than others? And then just kind of talk about that expansion of Mutual of Omaha in the med sup market, seemingly all over the country, whether it be east, west, north, south, all over. You guys are an equal opportunity med sup game right now.
We are definitely expanding our new repricing this year throughout 2021. In addition to those states that you actually mentioned already, you forgot your home state. We're working on new rates in the state of Pennsylvania.
Absolutely, I even wrote it down actually.
Hey, it takes a village, right? I mean, there's lots of moving parts.
Right.
So in addition to those, we do have a few additional states that I haven't even shared with you guys yet. So I'll be sharing those here today.
Okay.
So agents can be looking for new pricing coming soon, hopefully, in Arkansas, Illinois, Michigan, Nevada, and North Dakota.
Okay.
So what is happening is we've done a reprice with these state insurance departments, in which case we have filed for new competitive rates in all of those states mentioned. Now, they've all been filed with the state insurance departments. We are waiting for approval on those. To date, we have one approval, and that state is Arizona, which just released actually on Monday of this week, on March 1st. So if you have agents that are writing in the state of Arizona, they're definitely going to be seeing Mutual of Omaha popping to the top of the pile, because we do have that new rate structure available in that state. So we are looking forward to a quick turnaround on the rest of those states that have been mentioned. Because it's definitely going to make it selling Mutual of Omaha from a rate perspective a lot easier for the agents out there today.
And we know that the sub game especially, it's really about rate and it's about brand recognition. And when you have both of those together, that's a significant advantage. There are some carriers that try to dip and do that, but Mutual of Omaha joining the party is certainly a big deal with the branding that Mutual of Omaha brings to the table. Kristi Meyers, the sales director with Mutual of Omaha for SUPs and PDPs, joining us here on the Neishloss Podcast. And Kristi, you mentioned Arizona being approved and moving into those other states and where they are in terms of rates. And yeah, I've seen Arizona already pop up there. So that's already been noticeable. But as we mentioned, even talking a little bit off the air, there is tons of competition in the med sup game. Having the rates is definitely a big part of it. Having the branding is definitely a big part of it. And the branding gives you an extra major advantage when you have the rates as well. And of course, the rates are going to be varying all across the country. Not everybody can be the top of the rate chart in every single state. But when you have the brand, that's a big deal. But what do you think separates Mutual of Omaha from the pack outside of just the rates and outside of just the branding? Because those are two main things that's going to attract an agent that he's going to be able to sell to a client, and that may work 90% of the time. But for that client that maybe is digging to ask a few more questions because they don't have a problem with any of those major brands that are near each other, what then would separate it and be another sales pitch for Mutual of Omaha?
Okay. Yeah, so for sure, brand name is definitely going to be one of the things that's going to help to make Mutual of Omaha stand out from the competition. I mean, consumers know and trust us, and we've been in it since 1909. In the senior space, I'm sure a lot of your agents out there remember watching Wild Kingdom. You will have consumers mention that show right away.
I've not heard of that show yet. I'll have to look into it. Okay.
Look into it. Okay. Ask your agent base. I know they are familiar with the Wild Kingdom show. It's the original like Animal Planet type animal show with two hosts that everyone remembers, and especially in the Medicare space, people remember that. Okay. Our new logo and branding is definitely respective of our financial strength and the whole concept of protecting your pride. Mm-hmm. So our new lion head logo definitely gives off that persona. The other thing maybe would be that we are a mutual company. So that is going to give us an advantage in the market space to really focus in on our policyholders and not shareholders. And then, just from a MedSup perspective, a few things that I jotted down that are going to help us stand out from the pack is, first and foremost, our experience. So why, as a company, we've been in business since 1909. A lot of agents don't realize that we have actually been selling Medicare Supplement since Medicare began. That's way back to 1966. So we have 55 years of experience helping agents and Medicare beneficiaries. And that tenure in the market has helped to make us the second largest Medicare supplement provider in the United States. Something else that I want agents to be aware of is our financial strength. So we are rated A+ superior by AM Best Company. And as you're out doing rate quotes, that is not going to be something that you're going to see from a lot of the competition today. So that is definitely a standout from Mutual of Omaha. And then from a consumer perspective, my consumers are going to benefit from that brand name, our longevity in the market, our financial strength. But we also offer on a MedSup side, we don't charge policy fees. They have anniversary rating, which is going to mean on a MedSup, they have the potential for one rate adjustment in a given year. We have a 12-month rate guarantee. And then we do have a very easy to qualify 12% household discount in most states. And then, of course, for the agents, we offer competitive compensation. There are bonus opportunities in the forms of cash bonuses and marketing credits. And then we also have incentive travel opportunities, such as wonderful destinations, which everyone can be attempting to earn a spot to join us in London, England in 2022. So those are just a few things that really came top of mind, what is going to make us stand out from the competition.
I'd imagine too, especially after the last year that we've all dealt with, that having that in your frame of mind, I can travel to this destination when things hopefully clear up or get better at that point. That would be something to look forward to. We all need that light at the end of the tunnel. So I'd imagine that would definitely be a major incentive. And of course, we know there's bonuses always involved. Mutual of Omaha doing something bonus-wise, which can separate a carrier from the rest. And when you have a tenured carrier that's that involved, that's that knowledgeable, and you have people like Kristi, that's certainly a big help as well. Again, Kristi Meyers joining us, the sales director with Mutual of Omaha for SUPs and PDPs. Mike Asti here on the Neishloss Podcast as we are discussing Mutual of Omaha's popping expansion all throughout the country with their MedSup product. We may get into a little bit else what Mutual of Omaha is doing here in a moment. Now, Kristi, what I do want to ask you, because you mentioned this too, the household discount is a major factor, and that's part of it too. 12% is definitely in that elite category in terms of what you're offering for sure, especially compared to other carriers that maybe are up there in terms of rates initially, but that household discount can certainly make Mutual of Omaha potentially even cheaper and make that even a bigger deal. So that's a big key for a major brand to be offering a household discount that high. But in terms of all of these states that Mutual of Omaha is expanding into, Are there any particular areas within those states? So diving maybe into a county or an area within those states that would be an opportunity for growth for an agent, because obviously, agents, if they're licensed in Pennsylvania, they're licensed in Pennsylvania, so that could mean Pittsburgh, Allegheny County, that could mean Philadelphia with Philadelphia County. Arizona's a big state as well, so is Michigan and some of these others, but they may not either want to sell the whole state, or they may say, well, my competitor's dominating over here in terms of an agent, so is there anywhere else that I could tap into that maybe others are not going into as much, or you now feel this product is popping? So are there specific areas that maybe would be opportunities for growth for agents by chance?
While we don't really focus in on things as much at the county level, it's going to be more
Right.
at a zip code level.
Sure.
With all of those states that we're waiting on repricing on, actually, as I went through and I did all the rate compares across all of those, I would say typically our pricing has been more competitive in areas that would not be like city center.
Okay.
So if you're looking at downtown Philadelphia, we're probably not going to look maybe as competitive, but once you maybe get 10, 15 miles outside from city center, and this is going to be true in any state,
Right.
That's where you're going to see Mutual of Omaha shine with their rates and look competitive compared to the competition. I mentioned Arizona, that one's approved. If you're looking right in downtown Scottsdale, Arizona, we're still going to be competitive and we're going to be leading the pack. We might not be the lowest price carrier, and that is not our strategy anyway, to always be that lowest price carrier, but we will be within reason, which we usually would say an agent could Mutual of Omaha with consumer usually about up to $10 more expensive than the lowest price carrier on a given month, because of all those reasons that I mentioned: our longevity,
Right.
our experience, our ease of doing business with for both a consumer and for an agent. So I want to throw out there, we competitive map compares each and every month. Those map compares sent to the NNF team. So if you are an agent wondering where is Mutual of Omaha competitive in the month of March, and you're looking to maybe expand your state footprint, or you maybe have stepped away from writing, you're wondering, wow, I'm hearing a lot of good news. Mike's saying they have great rates coming in my area. I'm going to reach out, and the NNF team can definitely get you information across the entire country. Where in a snapshot is Mutual of Omaha going to look competitive for Plan G and for Plan N? And I know we don't have specific questions here today on Plan N, but really start looking at Plan N. It is one of the fastest growing plans out there, and for good reasons. I think it offers a really great MedSup product, a good alternative maybe to Medicare Advantage, at a very competitive price. So definitely take a look at that as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, Plan G, and then moving on to Plan N. Plan N kind of underrated right now, but certainly if we were doing this show a year from now, might be a different conversation, and we'll definitely hope to have you back on to discuss this trek of Mutual Omaha across the country and what does happen with the carrier. But yeah, Plan N is definitely something to bring up for sure. It's not just about Plan G right now. And of course, as Kristi mentioned, these podcasts are kind of Spark Notes version. They're kind of quick snapshots of what's going on to have that fun discussion. So definitely feel free to give us a call. You also can comment below this video, so that can help us as well. So feel free to comment below this video with any questions, either for myself, Kristi, or whoever else, about what's going on with Mutual of Omaha here across the country and this expansion and diving further into it. And we'll get back to you for sure. Also can comment below on any of our social platforms that this show is posted on. So that's a big deal as well, and we'll definitely reach out, or you can certainly reach out to us once we hear from you there, and definitely those comments definitely are looked at. So for sure, feel free to comment with any questions or looking to dive in further. And I think that's a great point. So that is the answer for sure we're looking for. That, and we mentioned it earlier, that Mutual of Omaha as a carrier, it's not like an unknown brand. People, when they see it, they're going to be familiar with it. Even the casual fan who knows nothing about Medicare is going to be aware of it, going to have heard of it at least. So if you see that even near the top of the quote engine, you'll know that there's tons of benefits, there's tons of bonuses, there's branding, there's a lot to be comfortable with that maybe would provide more comfort for you than a carrier that you don't know that maybe is $5 cheaper. So that's certainly something to bring up as well. But then when you go to the outskirts, which is, you type in some of those zip codes that are a little bit further out from the city, like say, some further out from the city here in Pennsylvania, even our home state, or Arizona that's been approved, or any of these states here, Michigan, North Carolina, South Carolina, Ohio, North Dakota, any of these other states that we talked about earlier, certainly getting further out from the city will have that pop even more, which will keep that domination going for Mutual of Omaha in their SUP game. Kristi Meyers, the sales director with Mutual of Omaha in the SUP and PDP category there, joining me here on the Neishloss Podcast. Now, Kristi, as we kind of continue through this conversation, I know this is something that is a big deal for you, and certainly is going to be helpful to us when we're talking with agents and also them trying to actually sell this and acquire members, is that Mutual of Omaha clearly is not just about what's happening with their SUPs. So aside from what's going on with the SUP expansion, and maybe we'll have you on in the future to dive further in away from just the SUP conversation, but aside from the SUP expansion, what else is Mutual of Omaha doing right now in terms of, do you have any other recent news or any other product line that's having success right now? I do understand that the dental product is certainly now something that you guys are proud of as well.
Yep. So I'm also sales director, as Mike has mentioned, not for MedSup, but also for prescription drug plans.
Gotcha.
Just the only shout out I really want to make on PDP is that is a separate contract for
Right.
Mutual of Omaha. So if you're interested in selling the Mutual of Omaha RX PDP plans, please reach out to the Neishloss team so you can get contracted to sell that product. And then yes, with respect to our dental product, last year, really what we worked on was two things from a dental perspective. One, we took a 10% rate decrease in most states on the protection plan. And then for all products, we offer a new 15% multi-product discount that the agent can give to that consumer when they are buying the dental product in combination with a MedSup sale.
Okay.
So it's a limited time frame in which that sale can be made, but we really made it easy within our e-application tool to write both of those products side by side, and then the consumer can benefit not only from potentially the household discount on MedSup, but a 15% discount on dental for the multi-product discount. So I'm super excited about that. I think it's a great combination sale for agents to make, and then really that holistic approach to consumer healthcare.
Sure, and that holistic approach is so important right now, especially with what's going on with the pandemic, etc. But it's very important. We wanted to make sure we got that out there, that it's not just about the SUP products for Mutual of Omaha, even though that's the tenor of this particular show, that Mutual of Omaha is doing so much else. And yeah, that's definitely an important distinction, because we hear from agents all the time, well, I thought I was already approved. Separate contract, separate approval.
Yes.
It's definitely something important to be aware of if you want to have the full gamut at your disposal, which is always recommended, because of course you need to do that needs analysis, and then once you find out what the client actually needs, you can best serve them. And our CEO Brian Adams always talks about, if you're serving the client the best you possibly can, the money's going to come with that. So
Yes.
Serving them certainly is the number one
Completely
thing.
agree.
Yeah, and then the money is just going to happen on its own. Kristi Meyers here, sales director with Mutual of Omaha for MedSups, and of course, as she just mentioned, PDP there was prescription drugs. Now, Kristi, obviously this is a carrier that's going to much success across the country, and that footing and that growth is continuing onward and upward. So this is a product that certainly makes sense for agents to be carrying, certainly Mutual of Omaha on the SUP side right now. But even this could even be an in general question. Are there any challenges that you've noticed maybe agents bringing up to you, or you're just maybe aware of in the market, and any advice you could offer in terms of agents selling Mutual of Omaha, certainly selling the SUP product, based on either what's going on right now or just in general? Because as you know, no matter what the carrier is in terms of its footing or branding, etc., not even where the rates are, there's going to be negative people out there that are going to try to bring something up and kind of prod. So what maybe is a key challenge that agents may encounter when selling Mutual of Omaha, and what strategies would you maybe suggest to help overcome that challenge?
You're right. So all carriers are going to have their challenges. They're different
Right.
each year as to what we might be facing. I think this year the challenge for agents is really going to be staying on top of all of these new states that we are rolling out with, and really understanding why do carriers do that. This is not the first time, like for Pennsylvania, for instance, that we will be coming out with new rates in that area. And I know sometimes agents wonder, why are they changing paper again? Why can't they just stay at the paper that they've been? That's what I'm comfortable with. That's what I'm familiar with. But we're not the only carrier that does this. All the other carriers have what I'll call sister carriers that or affiliates that they will periodically change paper to. And that is what you're seeing us do this year across a lot of the country, as we've mentioned earlier on this podcast. So agents, I think one frustration or challenging point to them would be, why do they do that? And really the reason comes down to, especially a carrier like Mutual of Omaha, if we've been selling Medicare Supplement for 55 years and we have over 1.4 million Medicare Supplement clients on the book, and all those claims were coming in under one carrier name, how would we be able to compete from a price perspective in a market that has new entrants joining the Medicare supplement space each and every day? I would not be here on this call with you today because we would not be competitively priced in
We can
any
still
part
talk,
of the country,
but yeah.
most likely.
Yeah.
We would be talking football or something,
Yeah, we
or
could do that.
basketball or
Right.
something, but it's not going to be MedSup. So carriers periodically will say, you know what? We've kind of become uncompetitive in a given market. It's time for us to release new underwriting paper, i.e. new rates within that specific area, so we can maintain that competitive edge in the market and continue to grow new business sales. So with that, the whole NNF team knows all of the states that we are planning on right now. They know where we are going to stack up pricing wise. They have pending rates. They can share that with all the agents on the calls today. So I think right now that's going to be really the most challenging thing.
For sure, and those challenges exist, but that's a great point that you made in terms of Mutual of Omaha having to be able to compete in there and wanting to have competitive rates, but also understanding their brand and everything they offer, and having to do it this way maybe could feel overwhelming to an agent or something like that. But I think that's a great point that you brought up in terms of why a rollout like this would occur this way with so many of these states. Seems like every other day we're receiving an email, but there's a method to this madness, and it will eventually be a
Yes.
successful endeavor for you, the agent, or you, the member. We get both of them watching the show. So it kind of all makes sense and connect the dots eventually. Kristi Meyers, Sales Director with Mutual of Omaha for MedSups and PDP. Now, Kristi, as we kind of close up shop here, I know that we were talking off the air, too, that you're certainly familiar with us here at Neishloss and Fleming. You certainly sound familiar with us, and we certainly are the other tentacle for you in terms of helping these agents, in terms of working with these agents and understanding what Mutual of Omaha is doing, and doing shows like this certainly can help this
Yes.
entire endeavor. But in your role working with FMOs, and I know that you work with several others as well, any thoughts in terms of what we're doing at Neishloss and Fleming, in terms of how maybe we separate ourselves? Because I can tell you that we definitely pride ourselves on that holistic approach in terms of the service that we provide, in terms of our marketing, in terms of having an in-house graphic designer here in the office, in terms of having bonus programs like we call one Greenhouse that can provide bonuses in addition to agent commissions. We have an online enrollment platform, MedicareCenter.com. That's big. You can look up doctors, prescription drugs, use it as a quote engine, and then even enroll right there. That's a big deal during the pandemic. Digital marketing is big. We have a program and an affiliation with a former agent that can really now help you in terms of creating a website or opening up social media channels and generating leads that way. He can maintain and post on those so you don't have to worry about the workload. But having major carriers like Mutual of Omaha, having that brand, being involved with Mutual of Omaha, and having a carrier do so well and expand across the country is certainly a major benefit for us as well, because it makes us easier. We don't have to make something up. We can say, hey, it's a great product, it's a great plan, it makes sense, go ahead and sell it.
Agreed. I'll just add a couple of things in
Sure.
there. So Neishloss Fleming has been a partner with Mutual of Omaha. I believe we're closing in on close to 25 years. So great partnership over multiple decades now. And I agree with what you're saying. The marketing support, you're definitely experts within the Medicare space. So can definitely be an ally for agents to reach out when they just have that question that, I've looked everywhere. I don't know where else to go. You guys have the team that are going to be able to help answer those questions. And then the other shout out I was going to definitely give was the use of Medicare Center and how really that is starting to explode within the market space itself, and how easy that is to make a sale for an agent really seamless and make them look professional in the eyes of the consumers that they're helping each day.
Yeah, and it also keeps the agent and the consumer safe because maybe they don't want to feel comfortable meeting face-to-face just yet, or just really making it as easy as possible. We've also noticed a lot of agents that maybe their Medicare business is not their only job or only source of income. And even agents who maybe were saying, well, I have a full-time job, I can't handle Medicare as well, but now because of Medicare Center, I can do it at least part-time because I can do it right from the comfort of my home, and it is easy to do it. I don't have to worry about all these different browsers and being so confused. And as Kristi alluded to, we're certainly interested in answering any questions you have out there. There are no stupid questions. I've had many questions myself that I went in and thought I should know this, but there's always news and happenings and things going on in the Medicare industry that it can be confusing and overwhelming. So having an FMO like us certainly can be a benefit to you as that silent partner in the process. And also having someone like Kristi on these shows, because I will brush my shoulders up a little bit. I think this podcast here is part of what's cutting edge for us here at Neishloss and Fleming, and even what we're doing here on this YouTube channel and across social media to really help you, the agent. That's kind of the main focus there. So Kristi, anything else that you want to just get out there? Did we miss anything? Anything you want to say here as we kind of end this particular show? But I'm sure we'll talk to you again in the future.
Yeah, no, I really want to say thank you. It's the first podcast that I have been on, so I hope for an invite back.
You'll remember me forever then?
I will remember you and the entire team forever, So I appreciate that. I appreciate our partnership, and really more than anything, I appreciate everything that the agents have been doing as we continue through this pandemic. You asked about the pictures in the background. I'm like, those are new because I have been work from home for quite some time, and I'm fortunate enough, those are some favorite places that I have been to. So sometimes, when the day's feeling long, turn behind me. But really want to specifically thank all the agents that are joining this today and all of the customer service and support that you have given to all of the Medicare beneficiaries. We cannot thank you enough here at Mutual of Omaha. So thank you very, very much.
I know we can say the same thing. We can't thank you guys enough as well for your partnership and for being able to help us out with your appearance on podcasts like this. So for Kristi Meyers, the Sales Director with Mutual of Omaha for Med Sup Products and PDP, I'm your host, Mike Asti, as usual. Once again, I want to remind you, click that subscribe button, bottom of this video. It'll help us get all of our content to you. It is free to subscribe. Make sure to hit us up all through social media here on this YouTube channel, LinkedIn, Facebook, etc. Now on Instagram at Neishloss_Fleming. And also, of course, find us on our website, nandfinc.com. And as Kristi mentioned earlier, and as I mentioned earlier, comment below. Comment below this video. Comment below any of our social posts. We'll definitely hit you up once we see those comments. We'll interact with you on those comments. We definitely are looking at those comments so we can dive in further once we see any questions in those comments. So again, for Kristi, for all of us at Neishloss and Fleming and Integrity Marketing Group, I'm Mike Asti. Until we meet again.